Welcome to Retro Upgrade. As you can see, this is the obligatory Halloween episode. We're nearing Halloween here in Gran Canaria. Okay, so let's get talking about this. Let's remove this. It's a pain in the ass to deal with, it gets stuck everywhere. Okay, so this is a ZX Spectrum I got from the flea market not too long ago. I paid 15 euros for it. It's in the box. The box is a little mangled, as you can see here, but it's nice having the box. I never owned one of these when I was young. I never played one. I don't even know what to expect, really. I've seen some videos. This is the 48K version. So it's a ZX Spectrum 48K. There is a few other ones. One thing I found a little concerning was the power supply that comes with this, or that came with this, was actually the incorrect one. Let's see. So here's the ZX. I have a few projects planned for this. It doesn't come with the original stuff, but it does come with this, and I do have the plugs so I can power it. This is a 8-bit computer, if you didn't know. Looks really nice. Okay, so the concerning part was this came with it. This is a multi-power supply, one of those you use for a laptop, and the minimum voltage on this is 12 volts, and what I can remember, this takes 9 or 5. So could be that they fried the voltage regulator inside. We are lucky they just bullshitted and added this, because it's the flea market. Because it's the flea market, you can't trust anyone. It's missing the rubber feet. So okay, so let's see what we can do with this. First of all, I don't want to use RF. It has a RF input or output, and it sucks pretty much. But there is a really easy mod you can do with this, and you can get composite out. I'm actually thinking of doing a future project. I've already designed the board with Detlef to add RGB to this, so it's RGB output, and I'm going to use the cartridge connector here. I'm also planning on doing my own game cartridge. You can upload the games via Bluetooth. That should work fine. It sounds like a cool idea, and I will be using a ESP for that. So a little overkill, because the ESP has like 100 times the speed this thing has, but just for progress sake. Let's get into this. Let's just open it up first, just to make sure the capacitors haven't died, because I don't want this blowing up even more. The wife got me a new set because I was missing the screwdriver on the other one. Size 0. I was working on a laptop before, that's why the mat is dirty. Can't remember if this has anything special I have to be careful with, but right now I'm just interested in to see if there are leaky capacitors or anything else. That's obvious. It looks like an interesting little computer, that's for sure. Okay, so let's let this go. There are a few ribbons, you have to be careful. Let's see if I can show you them. There we go. The 2 ribbon connectors, one here and one here. Let's disconnect these. These are just push-in ribbons. Yeah, they are. Oh, I ripped a ribbon. So this is normal. I was really careful and still ripped it. And this happens a lot actually with the keyboards. So you can get a replacement keyboard or we can try to salvage the ribbon. We can try to salvage it later, solder this place, but this ribbon is made from some tape with conductive ink inside, so I don't know if these are salvageable. And of course, yeah, it delaminated from the back. As you can see right here, they delaminate from the back, and then they break pretty much. Okay, so this was glued on, probably at a later date because it delaminated. Just removing this, see if I can get it in place, and then you only have to fix one. Yeah, I think this one will work, but the other one will be a hassle, so I'll see if I can do something about that. Okay, so let's check this. So it's based like all the I see a mod here. It goes under chip here. Looks like a mod, at least. Yeah. It's a small component here. 3 legs, so MOSFET maybe, or something else. Here's a voltage regulator. This should take the 12 volts, 9 volts that come in from here and regulate it down to 5 for the entire board. I don't see any leak damage anywhere. Let's zoom in, take a closer look. I'm going to move this to the side. Okay, so let's see. So I don't know much about these boards, so I'm not going to pretend I'm an expert at all. It uses axial capacitors. These are a pain in the ass to get a hold of. I'm going to probably, if I see them leaking, replace them with normal ones. Just spread their legs and put them on the side, or put them lying down with one leg over. That also works. Okay, so there is an easy mod for this. You do the mod inside here. I found a channel. This is why I hate RF. Look at this picture. You can see the text down there. Sinclair 1982 Sinclair Research Ltd. I'm actually not sure how to use the Sinclair, so I'm going to do some research. I'm trying to fine tune it now. Sorry for the blinking lights. Okay, we're back at the bench. I couldn't get a picture this time. I got one briefly that said Sinclair or something, but it doesn't tune correctly. So let's see if we get the right voltage rails. It had a modification, maybe the mod is wrong, who knows. Pre-modded systems can be a pain in the ass because they may have broken something when they did it. Okay, so let's take off the lid again. And this time we'll check the 5 volt regulator, see if it outputs 5 volts, and we give it 9. Go. Let's be careful so I don't rip the other ribbon. Go. I was able to push in this ribbon inside. I don't know if it makes good contact, but seems to do the job, I guess. We could modify this to composite and make sure it works. I do have an oscilloscope. We can also check the signal coming in from here, see if it has a video signal. Okay, so let's hook up the center negative power. I think it should be center negative, what I could find on the net at least. And I did get a picture with the center negative connection, so Should have been fine. Okay, so I hear a noise. I think that's the regulator, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe the coil that's whining. I don't know if it's going to pick it up on the microphone, but here goes. Okay, so we do have ground. This should be ground. We should have 5 volts coming out from this. Yes, we do. And we should have 9 volts coming in on this one. Yep, we do. Is this warm? Not really. So it's not pulling a lot of current. So this should actually be outputting an image. So the problem could be in here, or my TV is too new and can't tune that specific channel. I've had that happen to me before. I have another TV in the bedroom that's older. That one can tune to old Ataris and stuff, but the new one actually can't. It just ignores the channels. I need to make some research. Need to do some research and check what this is, why this is there. It's on the CPU. So why are we bridging those two? So where the base is connected. It's let's say base emitter collect. No, I can't remember exactly, but I can look it up. This goes where? Underneath with a flexible wire. Okay, and they soldered the wire here. I'll have to check that mod. Maybe it's a broken trace they fixed. I don't know exactly what voltages or anything really what this should have around here, so I'm not going to pretend to know what I'm doing. So what I'm going to do is disconnect this. It's making noise now. I'm not going to put on the keyboard. I think it gives an error, but I'm going to try the RF again on the TV because I can hear a chirping from somewhere. I think it's the it's the inductor making a noise, and the power, something is warming up here a lot. So it's probably this. It's dumping all its heat into this. Okay, so let's test it out. I haven't found an on-off switch for this, so probably there isn't one. Let's go. Now for a word from our sponsor, PCBWay. They can cover all your PCB needs for your holiday projects. Look at this one. This is a cool pumpkin project in the shared projects folder. If you need any PCBs for any of your cool holiday projects, just visit PCBWay.com and you get 10 PCBs for $5. This is an amazing deal. Don't miss out. Now back to the video. After checking online, this is not a mod. This comes like this. I don't know really what purpose is. It's probably a bodge from the factory. This gets really hot. I took some thermal camera image. I'll show it here. It's like 70 degrees, so I don't know if this were working correctly. Maybe it is. Okay, so first of all, let's tackle the display out. And then I'm going to try to fix the ribbon here. There are some methods for thin ribbons like this. I'm not really sure exactly what's going on under here, but I think this chiclet tablets, you need to remove this. So with a hair dryer or heat up, and then just lift from the adhesive. But I don't think I need to disassemble the entire thing. Just some tape on the back side. Yeah, this is the conductive side. Maybe so put some silver tape on it. the conductive kind. There's a rip right there as well. So I'll zoom in later to show you exactly what I'm doing. So this is what's important for me. Let's zoom in and I'll explain what I'm going to do. Okay, so this is the RF box. That's what it converts to composite. Actually, it actually outputs Y, U, and V. So it actually a type of RGB out. I'm going to be using that to make the other project. These lines actually go all the way over here to one of the pins here. I don't know exactly which one that is. You can convert it to RGB. There was a converter made by a French company. I'll show it here. And they're quite rare nowadays, and they're really bulky. They're extremely big. They're bigger than the machine almost. And I decided to design my own. Me and Detlef took one of our days and did a SMD version of it, and I found actually a better designed mod for it. So I'm going to be designing a card for it, but that's for another video. Now let's get to the modding of the RF. So, okay, let's get some focus. Okay, so this is the power in to the brick that converts the video, and this is the composite line in. So let's get this lid off. Take your time, be patient, just work it off slowly. Go. Lid is off. Okay, so what we're going to do, let's get some tweezers to show you exactly what I'm going to do. So we are going to desolder this capacitor right here, or this resistor right here, from this, and the shielding actually acts as a ground, so we don't need to pass on ground into it. And this composite signal is going from here into this hole instead, and directly to the pin. So we're going to jump over all this electronics right here. Hopefully the picture is good, but what I could see on the internet is really good compared to the RF, especially on my TV that sucks with RF. I can't get it to work properly. I have a few other consoles that do the same issue, have the same issue. Okay, so let's start by cutting these off. So I'm trying to angle it so you can see what I'm doing. I want to make this reversible. I don't want this to be permanent, I guess. But I won't be going back to RF, I'm guessing. So I'm going to cut it to quite a bit down. Take my tweezers, bend this up and away. There we go. It's right there. See? The black can maybe show you. You can see it there. Now I'm going to cut this off, and I'm going to desolder the wire. Or I can desolder the wire directly. So let's remove this from the case. I don't think the Sinclair is screwed in. So maybe this. It feels like it's stuck. Is it screwed in? Yes, it's screwed in. It has one screw right there. I'm blind. Okay, now it should come out. It did. It looks nice and clean. I can't see any real damage on the braces. This is normal, this wrinkling from the time, so that's fine. Okay, let's get this over here. The case itself looks good. Okay, so this is the RF. So we want to remove this one, that one right there. this one. So we heat it up with a soldering iron and we should be able to get it out. Sometimes adding a little solder will help as well. I'm going to orientate this so I can reach it with some tweezers, so I can pull it out. Let's say 350. Hopefully that's enough. I'm going to use a curved tip. This is my favorite soldering tip. And I'm actually going to spin this around again. Sorry for the confusion. Still this one. It's so I can reach with the tweezers with my left hand. See, I'm at 350. There we go. The pin is out and the hole is not clean. So let's put in some flux and clean out the hole. I made my own liquid somewhat flux. I used some of my paste flux. It's not liquid anymore. It was a while. It works really good though. I just mixed as a large amount of IPA with my paste flux because it dissolved it. It seems to be working, so why not? Okay, I have my braid. I want to put some flux on the braid as well. Usually what I do is I spread out the braid like this. Just push it together. There. And I put some flux on. This is so it absorbs easier because I use really cheap, really bad braid. If you buy the good stuff, you don't need to do that. But that's a good tip for anyone that's on a budget. Just hit the... There we go. Nope. Not enough. You can see it's sucking up some solder. Yeah. The hole is clean. Let's pick up some more. There we go. Really nice clean hole. 350 degrees was enough. Let's clean off here because could corrode with the flux. It's a no clean flux, well, but hey, why not? Trusty spray bottle. Cotton swabs. And that looks good. There we go. You can see the wire is desoldered right there. Because this entire box will be disconnected from anything, doesn't matter if it touches anything, but I don't want it shorting anything, so I'll do this. Because the power is not connected anywhere as well. Doesn't really matter if they touch. Okay, let's desolder this. Turn back on the soldering iron. I don't know why I turned it off. Let's see, this is going to be fiddly. So the reason I like the curved one is because I can position it like I did now, just by moving. Okay, that's desoldered. So we need a bit of wire now to connect from the composite pin up to this. Or that was the composite pin? Yeah, this is the composite pin. The other one is power. This is the power. So this one into that. Let's find the base of wire. That's appropriate. I do have some Kner wire. I don't know if that's thick enough to transfer the video image. Probably is, but let's see if we find something closer to the thickness what's here. Found some old connectors. It should have decently sized wire inside. So wire seems to be the right size. I'm going to strip both ends. Was off camera, sorry. Okay, so let's pre-tin the wires. So let's try to push this through. And left the wire over. Let's see. So I have a easier time to solder this. Like that. Some fresh solder, because this is lead free on the connector. Let's use some leaded. I'm heating up the wire. There we go. That should be enough to transfer signal. There we go. It's stuck. Doesn't go anywhere. Now to put it in there, let's see if I can get you a better angle. There we go, a little more light. Sorry for my head. I'm trying to do this via the microscope only, or not the microscope. This is my overhead camera. This is not the microscope. Just pulling these straight. I'm looking through my screen, so that's why I'm fiddling around a little bit too much. Let's turn this around. Not really through the entire way. Give me a sec. Okay, I don't know if that's visible, but it's through the right there. So let's help it stick. Flux. Solder. There we go. Nice joint. We're done. This is a composite mod for the ZX Spectrum. Surprisingly easy to do, but really handy to know, actually. Okay, so let's go. Let's clean off with some IPA. I don't have a ZX, so I'm probably going to keep this one. I'm going to start to sell off my bits of my collection, because I have too many of different consoles. So I like 6 N64s and yeah, something like that. A little overkill for most. Okay, so the only thing I didn't like was this heated up way too much, the ULA chip. This is the CPU, and this is actually not a bodge, or it's a bodge from the factory. So this is actually correct. Only thing that bothers me is the heat this is producing. So I found a replacement chip that replaces the LM7805. It does the same job but uses switch mode regulation instead. So I'm going to try that. I'm going to order up a few, and I'm going to make a video about that, because that's a good way to reduce the heat output of the entire system, because this takes 9 volts and reduces it to 5, but this is a linear regulator, and everything that's over 5 volts it dumps out as heat on this heatsink. Okay, so let's put this together and try this out again. Let's see, let's put the lid on. I'm pretty sure this worked. I really hope it worked. And then we'll take a look at the keyboard. Okay, so I tried to record this on my setup, but as you can see the image is crap, so I thought I had failed with the mod, but it turns out it's just a crappy composite to RGB converter that is failing. It has a lot of noise. I tested this on the TV. I'll show you that right now. Okay, so this is the ZX Spectrum with the composite mod. It's really clear. You can read everything. Still noisy. And just to show you, it's in the composite output. Actually on the green, but it's the same on this TV. Okay, now time to fix the keyboard. Okay, we're back at the bench. Now that we know this works in composite on the TV, we can go over and see if we can fix the ribbon cable I broke when I opened it. These are really fragile. Okay, so my idea is, because it has conductive traces on the inside, and they have to match up with this like this. So my idea is to use some tape to give it some backing, also to reinforce some places. I saw a rip starting somewhere right there. There's a small rip, and same on the other one, just to prevent it from ripping any further. This one also had a rip somewhere, so I'm going to put some tape as reinforcement for them. This should work. I'm going to use some conductive tape. Let's see, this kind. It's the metal foil kind. And for the backing, I'm just going to use regular old cell tape, or what it's called in English, I can't remember. The normal tape. This is filthy, it's behind my 3D printer. I never use it, mostly. So let's get to it. So first, let's check which side is conductive. I'm guessing it's this side. So let's go for this. It's late now, so I have to be a little quiet. Hopefully you can hear me decently. Okay, so let's see. Multimeter. So my guess was it was on this side. This is conductive ink. The silver, mostly. So if we fix the broken traces and manage to connect them, this should work actually. You can get the new keyboard membranes. This is a membrane. This is part of the membrane. You cannot actually get it loose for about 20-25 euros. But I don't want to wait for postage. I just want to use it and use my phone to load some games. So let's try it out. And this is a pain in the ass to get into. You have to heat up this metal part here and loosen the double-sided adhesive to take out the membrane. So I rather just fix this for now than get a new membrane when I have the chance. Okay, so first let's figure out best way to get these together. This should be attached on the back side here as well. There is a clamp here somewhere that holds it together. Okay, so let's push this down. So I have to, okay, so this goes there, this goes there. So I have to keep this out of the way like this for now, so I can work on it. So let's just put a crease on the plastic there. And because it has the conductive part there, I need to put tape on the other side. So let's do that. The reason I don't just plug this in is because it doesn't have the backing. This does. This is hard on the edge. This is a lot harder. So let's go for the repair. First off, I'll keep the multimeter close by because I need to check my work. Let's get a clean bit of tape. And put it all the way back here. Oh, not really what I was going for. Okay, so I've stuck it down. I don't want to rub off the conductive paint either. I have to be a little careful. Then just try to line up these. Sorry if I'm not in frame. There we go. As best I can. I know this is not perfect. And I know this is not optimal. Not by any means. I'm probably going to use a bit of tape from here to here instead, just to sandwich it. That's after I make sure it works. So I can actually cut off this piece. Let's get some scissors. Well, that seems to work otherwise. These are overkill, but yeah, sure. Let's remove this. It's like a thin film on plastic, just like this is. Okay. Yeah, so there are two ways to fix this. One is use a pencil, lead pencil, and just scratch until you get enough carbon on the pins to make it conductive. That works, but it will rub off eventually, so won't be doing that. Let's see, I had one open. Let's see, what is that? I use these for trace repair sometimes. So usually a small pair of scissors usually is enough. This is more than enough, by the way. This is just so I have something to hold on to. And it's creased right there, so let's remove that. So thickness of these are quite thin. So let's try to get a strip that's as thin. That's a little too thick. So thinner than that. Let's see. You can use an X-Acto knife as well. That will make this easier. Still too thick. This is quite inexpensive, so I don't mind wasting a little bit to get it right. Let's try the X-Acto knife on my cutting mat. There we go, a cutting mat. My little girl uses it to draw out 3D pen shapes and pull them off the mats. Okay, need a knife, preferably a sharp one. Sorry if my head is in the way. There we go. This looks about right. So this is foil tape. So it's metal with a tape backing. If you push hard enough with the tape, it's actually conductive. Or you can bend the end parts into itself, so you can push it down. And then use some tape to keep the pressure. Hopefully that makes sense. This piece is going to get cut up into 3 pieces or 4. Let's see. This is quite fiddly work, obviously. A pair of tweezers, a good knife that cuts really nicely. As you can see, it's super fiddly. And then you have to take off the backing on these things. So sorry for the overexposed, but these are reflective and they will reflect all the light up to the camera pretty much. Okay, so I think it was 5, right? Yeah, 5 connections, so I need 1 more. Okay, I pulled off one of the pieces. There we go. I'll trim this one down a bit. I have an extra one if I screw up. Okay, so let's see if we can make this work. Okay, so let's take a crack at this. So this is out of focus. I would want it in focus. I close the aperture slightly. That should increase the contrast a bit. Let's see if we can make this work. The tape seems to be holding up nicely. Okay, so let's remove some of the backings and start putting them on and start measuring. This will be a pain in the ass. There we go. 1 foil piece. There is some space in between the traces, so you shouldn't be too concerned about touching. There's 1. Let's see if I can get a better view. Okay, so the blown up picture is going to be a little hard to see, but you can see there. So this should be connected now. I'm not sure if it's making electrical connection, but we'll fix that later. Let's put on all the traces first. Okay, let's see if this works. Otherwise, we'll go to plan B, which is the graphite pen. I'll put it in ohms. A bit back. No conductivity. From here to here we have, but not from here to here. So the conductivity from the trace underneath to the metal is not getting through. So we'll have to use some means of connecting it. Could also just bend over one of the corners, do it that way. If this doesn't work, let's try the lead pen. This is H2, I think. I think this is a graphite pen. Let's try it out. Piece of paper. Okay, so this is not dissolving. But let's check conductivity. Nothing. This is probably too hard. I have another one here, a cheaper one. Sometimes more expensive is not better. Yeah, this one is letting off a lot of carbon. Okay. No conductivity. Really bad. So let's try this on one trace. Let's see if we get anything, or if this is a dud. Oh, we're actually getting some resistance values on the other side. Can you see that? It's not very consistent, so we need to paint on some more, obviously, but let's do that. Would be easier if I had more space to do this. But slightly higher quality graphite will also work. Okay, so the graphite pen doesn't work. Let's try something else. Let's pull this off. This reaches into the connector actually. So if I stiffen the back of this piece, I could probably just shove it in and it works. Let's try that. Three or four layers should to make it stiff enough. A few more. This is also just an experiment. Not really sure this will work. Still working, but it's not reacting to the key presses. So we'll need to buy a new membrane. That sucks. Oh well, I'll do an update video when I get the membrane. Okay, let's go to the end of the video. Thank you for watching until the end. Don't miss out on PCB Way's great deals. And next time we'll be taking a look at how to make our own RGB out cart for this console. See you then. Bye.